Additions to the stash, completed models, various works in progress, new tools, one of which I've already broken, and a free download. There's lots to get through in this Workbench update. G'day everyone, it's been a long time since I've done one of these Workbench updates, and since I've had some people messaging asking about progress on the big 1/8 scale Rosso Ferrari, I thought now's a good time. Firstly, I've finished a bunch of models since the last update. I won't go into detail on these builds in this video because they've all got their own dedicated build video on the channel. This 1/24 scale Sauber Mercedes from Tamiya is a bit of a special one for me. It's built as the 1989 Le Mans winner, but it's the first time I'd ever race weathered a model. And not just the race grime and rubber debris, but also duplicating the damage the car picked up during the race. Then there's this grey ghost from Salvinos JR Models. It's the 1980 Daytona 500 winning Oldsmobile driven by NASCAR legend Buddy Baker. Over to Formula 1, Tamiya's big 1/12 scale Honda from the 1960s, which has working suspension. And finally, a diecast conversion. It's the one-off wildcard entry from the 2020 Bathurst 1000 V8 supercar race, based on a Bianchi Holden Commodore in 1/43 scale. Remember, if you want to see how any of these came together, what modifications were made, what problems were encountered and how they were resolved, there are direct links to the videos in the description. Here's a few things I've picked up at a couple of the expos and shows I've been to over the past year. This pack of 10 drills goes from 0.1mm up to 1mm in 0.1 increments and has proven to be really handy. They can be used individually by hand or fitted into a pin vise. Unfortunately, I've already broken one already, the tip of which is embedded in a model I'm currently working on, which you'll see shortly. Speaking of pin vices, this is a new one which can accept a wider range of drill sizes via the different size chucks, and due to the free spinning head, it's much easier to use than my old one. And this is a Tamiya product. Next is new nippers from 9 Steps to only be used on soft plastic, not on metal or even clear parts because the plastic is harder and brittle. When cutting off the sprue, they allow you to get really close to the part, therefore reducing the amount of cleanup and time once the part's off the tree. This is a brown oil-based wash from SMS. I've yet to use it, so can't really give any commentary. And that's also true for this decal adhesive from Tamiya. I've got several odd kits, so obviously old decals as well, so guessing this might come in handy someday. The next one was a bit of a big spend, some scribing tools from Godhand. I had high expectations for these, but they're not doing the quality of job I expected, or I just haven't learned how to drive them properly yet. One has a fine point and the other has a cutting surface, and despite being told this is what you need for scribing panel lines, I haven't really got them to work like I've seen other people use similar things on YouTube. Now you can use these by hand, but there's far more control once they're in a pin vise. I often slice up tape for finer masking jobs, so when I saw these reels of really fine tape, I thought, this could be a bit easier. The micron masking tape in these packs is just 1mm, 0.7 or right down to 0.4mm wide. I should also mention this dangerous stuff. I've used it to do some stubborn chrome stripping from Salvinos JR Models. Again, there's links to the chrome stripping videos in the description. On to the stash ads. There's the Shane Van Gisbergen first NASCAR Cup win, of which I've already done an unboxing video for, so we'll leave that alone. These 3 other Salvinos JR models, I bought them because they were at reduced prices. There's the 83 Pontiac of Richard Petty, Carl Yarbrough's Holly Farms Monte Carlo. I got this just before Carl passed away, and it's one I've been wanting to grab for a while because this was from the mid-70s era that really caught my attention as a kid. Big colourful cars in the stock car racing magazines and occasionally on TV, although our TV was black and white back then. And then there's the Bobby Allison Daytona 500 winner from 1982, which will make a nice addition to a couple of other 500 winners that I've built. This one is in 1/24 scale, and if we have a look inside, it's moulded in white plastic. It's got rubber tyres, a tree of clear parts, and plenty of other bits and pieces, plus a chrome tree. And at the bottom, the instructions and the decals with all the green panels, the Gatorade markings, contingency sponsors, and so on. So I'm really looking forward to building this one. The next kit has a bit of a special backstory to it. It's Tamiya's Ferrari 312B from their 1/12 big scale series. It's the re-release that includes photo etch parts. Inside there are multiple copies of the instructions, one's in English and the other is in Japanese. The kit includes an extra instruction book which is dedicated to the steps that involve the photo etch and other parts not covered in the original kit's instructions. Inside, it's typical Tamiya quality with silver grey for the engine parts, black for some of the chassis parts, a dull plated tree for metallic pieces, white exhausts and ducting. There's the driver figure, shiny plated parts tree for suspension arms and some other chrome parts, and rubber tyres with the fine tread that was used even on the dry tyres back in the day. The monocoque skin is moulded in red, as are the other body and chassis parts. Tubes, wires and tinted clear are all in separate packs. The photo etch includes wing end plates, brake disc and cooler textures, belt buckles, plus other fittings and bracketry. And lastly, the seat belts and decals, which are from Cartograph. The decals look a little yellowed, but hopefully that's just the protected tissue paper and not the decal film itself. Now, the story behind this, a member of my local club gave it to me. He knew race cars were my thing and he didn't want money for it, as years ago it had been gifted to him, so I'd like to do something special with it. At this stage I've got no idea what that might be, and I'm a long way off making a start on the kit anyway, so plenty of time to think up something, but thanks Finn for this, and we'll see what we can do with it. As for what's currently being built, the big thing is this big one, the 1/8 scale Ferrari from Rosso that I'm building for someone else. Just for reference, the box these parts are sitting in is from Tamiya's 1/12 scale Honda, and half of the model is taking up the box, so it gives you a perspective of the size this thing's going to be once it's complete. As mentioned in a previous unboxing video, the owner had made a start on this model, and some of the things I've done so far is fitting the steering column in, which connects to a working steering rack. I've added the main heat shielding sticker to the back of the monocoque. The front suspension will mount on top here and screw to the top mounts. Bunch of parts that are being prepared for fitment include the push rods, the top roll hoop, the main ignition control box, and the brake disc and upright assemblies. The carbon fibre pattern on the ducting is cast into the part. All the titanium gold parts have been painted. The rotators rotate. And there's a metal wheel nut which will secure the wheels in final assembly. And there's a rear upright, and this is a front with the clevers to pick up the steering rods. There has been considerable progress made on this model since this footage was recorded. If you'd like to see where things stand now, go to my website, wixie500.com, and click Current Projects. At the opposite end of the scale, quite literally, is 1/43 scale. This was a Shane Van Gisbergen Red Bull Commodore, but it's been stripped, primed and repainted and now ready to start receiving colour and decals for its new identity and driver, which will be revealed another day. I'm also part way through my first resin build. It's a rare Indianapolis Roadster in 1/43 scale from MA scale models. It's the winning Watson Offenhauser driven by Pat Flaherty to victory in the 1956 500. It comes with a couple of photos of a built-up model, but the photos show bluish-grey wheels, and I've yet to find any period photos of the car with those wheels. All of the pictures that I've managed to find so far, the wheels are a metal finish. The main body and base are resin, which I've washed, sanded and primed, but there's a lot of porosity that needs filling. There are a number of metal parts, the axles, brakes, just a small sheet of decals, which got a bit of a matte finish, so hopefully the clear goes over those okay. It comes with very basic instructions and colour callouts, but it's a fairly basic, straightforward kit. It's got a small vac-formed windscreen. The base fits in from underneath, and it's not a very good fit. I've had to do a lot of filing and manipulation to sort of make things look a little bit more neat. I've already drilled the mounting holes in the model and measured and drilled a display plinth, which will use countersunk screws that tap into the model's base to keep it secure. I've already cleaned up primed and painted many of the metal parts. There were 3 different designs of wheel included, but the castings are very poor, which is hard to see now that they've been painted black, but these will end up with a metal finish. The suspension parts are all in white metal and have been hit with some SMS Super Silver. The exhaust, like all of the white metal parts, is very easy to bend out of shape, but I guess also easy to put back in shape. I plan to polish this to utilise the metal finish and maybe clear it so it doesn't oxidise with age. And the kit even includes the little hub knockoffs which need to go on each wheel. A starter tube is going to be fitted into the front of the car, and this is where I broke my new drill, so there's a piece of drill stuck in that hole forever. I don't know how old this kit is, and my inquiry to MA has never been answered, so if you know its age or even production numbers, pass it on. And now the free download I promised. There's a bit of interest in the Rosso Ferrari, but not many people will ever get to experience this kit. So to allow those who do have an interest gain a better understanding of all the parts in the kit and how it's engineered and how it's designed to be built using hardly any glue, I've scanned the 32-page instruction book and have it available as a free PDF download, which you can grab via the links page on my website. There's no catch, no sign up or anything like that, but you do need to visit the website to get it. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed that. If you want more updates like this, let me know in the comments and we'll see you next time. Cheers.